Okay, we're going to do a little aquaponics walkthrough here at Fisk Farm. There are the sheep up in the field, everybody happy. Sun's out a little bit. Maybe we can get a movie. Been promising for some time now. Okay, this is the entrance for the moment to the aquaponics. And here we have the latest grow bed to go in. This is number 5. Number 4, we're in the middle of washing the gravel. Of course, when I say we, I mean me. Here are the tomato plants doing real well. We got lettuce coming and carrots coming. We've got broccolis and soy plants, beans and peppers. These have been in about 3 weeks now. Some started from seeds, like the soybeans. Just put the trellises up today. This is September 4th, 2012. Here we have the broccoli. Those are doing, no, I'm sorry, the cabbage. Those are doing nicely. And we got various herbs. Right here is where the water's coming from the fish room. You can see the last fish tank poking back there. I've done a separate fish room from the grow bed room. Next season there'll be 5 more coming down this wall. You can see the rafters here for the roof, which I haven't finished yet. Just got an old piece of white plastic on it. The sun's been so intense this summer, it worked out very well. Here we got some old trellis scraps that we're using for the tomatoes. The beds are set on 4 20-foot runs of regular decking, pressure-treated decking. The cheapest one that Lowe's sells, it's their grade 2, which is very inexpensive. I think it's $5 for a 12-footer or something like that right now. These are all bolted right down. Of course, these are all IBCs for those who are not initiated. These are IBC tanks where you cut off 15 inches for a grow bed, fill it with 12 inches of pea gravel, and you put an auto siphon on. That's what we're looking at right here. These are my fail-safe auto siphons. They always work. Never had a failure. They work fantastic. Based on the Bernoulli design. Just like your toilet is based on the Bernoulli design. Okay, the water from the fish tanks, of course, will be extended. It'll enter this bed right there and be extended down to that bed. Okay, and there's the time and the date. And we'll move on into the fish room. The water comes, you can see it down inside there. That's where the drain will be hooked up on this tank, and on this grow bed, and it goes underground here and goes into the sump. And pardon the mess, the place is a wreck. There's the sump with the pump in it. And you can barely see, it's a little cloudy right now, you can barely see the float. I use a float switch. Not going to lose my pump because I make a mistake or I get a leak. The float switch, of course, your pump plugs right into it. Right there, you can probably see it. And I use a meter I got off eBay, 110 volts, so it's not worth much. I think I paid 15 bucks. But everything in here is running through that meter so I can keep track of expense. This is the filter I made during the first wash process to get the silt out. Okay, and right now the excess water not going through the system is pumping right back in. I've got a little pump, the meter's barely moving, but it's a 1,200 gallon and it's doing a great job. And the inside of that filter is right over there. It's a diaper pail with the fiber fill inside it. And that was inside this blue barrel, filtering out the silt from the stone washing. Okay, here's the first fish tank. I just cut a lid and leave little hinges so that you don't have to even spend money on hinges. And that works out pretty well. And there's tank number 2, and there'll be a total of 4 to 5. I may hold it 4. The last tank is all the way down in position there. The drains are all connected together with, I hope you can see that, 2-inch fern cones, so that I can drain them very rapidly anytime I want to drain them. And here we have our air pump, pumping air to all the tanks. That's a really nice air pump off eBay. Here I have a ozonator. It's an Italian unit used for ozonating drinking water. Well, I take turns ozonating the tanks as I feel they need it. Helps control algae. Here is the box from the pump, so you can see what I ended up with. So far it's working beautifully. Got a 3-year warranty. I got it very cheap off Overstock. Right where this mess is, everything's stored in here because here we have a metal roof over the fish tanks with just 3 skylights. And you can see there's too much light coming in the back. I got to get that closed up. And we're just running on tarps now. By winter I'll have a lot of wood up in the back and double plastic on the front. A lot of work, but it's all fun. You can see I have a little funnel set up there so I can pour ammonia in there for cycling the system. It takes about 3, 4 to 6 weeks to get the bacteria build up, so the ammonia from the fish gets converted to nitrates and then nitrates for the plants. Okay, and this is temporary, running from that tank to this tank. I have them draining from one to the other, but I fill each tank. This tank has 2 lines going into it. Eventually 2 lines will be going to the trout tank, which I'll have right here in this spot. And that'll be coming out of there. And there'll only be 1 going in that. I just use inexpensive valves, and they're probably under $2 at the hardware store. And I take washing machine hoses because I'm in the commercial laundry business. I just cut them in half, and that's how I fill the tanks. Then there's a bypass. Extra water goes back to the tank, and you already saw that pumping in. And that's the way that works. The tanks are all staggered, as you can see right here. They're built up on landscaping ties, which when they go on sale at Home Depot or Lowe's is 97 cents a piece. I only used about 18 to stagger the tank so one can drain into the next. And you can see the air coming up there. And the drains go down to the bottom and out to the center. And I'll show you how that works quick. I've got one right here that I removed. Okay, what I do is cut slots on the bottom, put an end cap on it, which isn't on this one at the moment, and then tie an air stone from Walmart right on top. And the hose used to come right up here. I replaced this one with a bigger one for the last tank because it was not getting enough flow. I went to 1.25 inches down there instead of 1 inch that I had, and it's working much better. The trout tank will probably go on to its own drain because it needs a lot of water flow for trout. And the reason I did this, by the way, on the air stone is because that is where it creates a current and all the sediments flow right to the air stone. So I wanted to have the exit right at the air stone, and that's why I did that. Just do that on the chop saw so that all the nasties go right to there and drain out and on down line. And I do a skimmer for the top too. I cut into the back of the 90 and I put a skimmer there so that nothing collects on the top surface either. So we're drawing off the bottom mostly and a little bit of skimming off the top. Works out very nicely. It's very simple. I try to keep costs down. The IBCs are very inexpensive. Of course, the pump is pumping out right here. I didn't tell you that. That's where the pump water comes out. Goes along there and up, and then down to the tanks, and then this other one is in front of it. It's a little confusing. It should be on its own braces. There we go. Get everything wet. And of course that goes right back into the sump. The net is here because we get about a frog a day in the sump tank. Even though it's as closed as it is, they manage to get in. So I got to make a new cover for that. The frogs are usually greeting me there in the morning, smiling, sitting on the wires. Here we got the chop saws for doing all the lumber and the PVC. Here's a piece of 4-inch ready to make another gravel protector. Keeps it out of the sump. And that's about it. I use rubber mats on the floor. They're inexpensive and they feel great because I'm always in here in bare feet. And this is what the base looks like. Pressure treated sitting on non-pressure treated, and there's hangers at the ends, and pressure treated sitting on the ground on this side supporting it. I think you can see that. And that's probably enough for this video.